Do you want to attract more buyers without them stepping into the property? Well, today we are going to discover the secrets to hosting a successful virtual open house and make those listings stand out. So today we are going to explore what I think are the step-by-step process of conducting a successful virtual open house. This will help you increase your exposure. It'll help increase, as I in previous video, your brand identity, your UVP. But it's also going to help you stand out, because one of the things that I am ultimately confused by right now is that the pandemic helped us understand that technology can leverage us and help us show our properties, our consumers, our clients' properties out to a bigger audience. But we stopped as soon as it stopped becoming a need for us to do it. I'm going to tell you right now, I think it still is a need for us to do this, because we can take advantage of being there on that day and creating a video, whether it's static or live. I prefer live. So you can come out there and open this up to an audience, and better yet, lead generate for it. Remember, people can't always show up to your open house the day you do it, or at the time you do it, or really at any point in time that you want to do it, right? Our schedule and their schedules don't always line up. But the one thing I want us to understand with this is we still can be there. Now, I'm going to throw a huge caveat to my audience listening today is please understand you need to have permission and written permission from your clients, because if you're going to do this, they may not always understand what's going on, and please make no assumptions about their understanding of what the agreement between all parties is. So just as a heads up. Now, with that being said, there's going to be some basic steps, 5-6 steps that I think are necessary for this. First is make sure that house is ready for a virtual open house. You're going to want to make sure this home is staged, because remember, when we walk in a home, our spatial acuity is rather large. We can see a whole lot of area, and we can have a better perspective of size and space that we can't capture on camera. So we're going to have to make sure that home is going to represent itself properly in a virtual world. So we do need to make sure it's cleaned, it's staged for a good viewing perspective. Make sure your lighting is good. You may too, we'll talk about technology back here in a second. You may need to bring a little extra lighting, especially something that maybe is attached to whatever your recording device may be. And then you want to make sure you have done a visual, or at least a very mental walkthrough of how you're going to go through. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk about a tip and technique at the very end that I love to do at this point in time. I think it's a really good way of doing it. But even then, you're going to plan your route so everybody gets to look at the house and get that normal feel. I'm going to tell you a trick to this is it's the same trick you use when you're taking your pictures, right? You're stage your pictures on your advertising platform. You have a walkthrough plan that goes through. Next, think about the technology you're going to use. Think about what platform you're going to be on. Is it Zoom? Is it Facebook? Is it, I like the tool that I'm on right now, StreamYard. There's Restream. There's a lot of these other multi-platform type tools you can be on to get this done. Also, you need to make sure what internet you're using. Is it your mobile? Is it, if you're going live anyways, is it the internet of the house? What is it you're doing? Also, you need to figure out what camera devices you're using. Now, you can bring your own cameras, things like that, but I'm going to tell you right now, most of us have phones that quality of camera on there is going to be more than sufficient. I will tell you, though, I'm going to encourage you to probably buy some sort of mic, whether it's a lavalier mic like a Rode that you have out there. You could buy some Rode lavalier mics for fairly inexpensive. You can also buy some USB mics that are fairly inexpensive as well. I'll put some in the comments or in the description below. But I use a DJI mic. I like it a lot. I can put it right here and I can walk around and I know that audio is going to be very, very sound. I'm not have to worry about any of those conversations in place. Also, as I hinted at before, you're going to want to make sure you probably have an extra lighting somewhere. Ring lights are really good. Some of them, especially if you have like a gimbal, by the way, also another good buy. You don't have to buy these all at one time because there are stabilizing strategies you can use when walking through the house without having it. But a gimbal is usually pretty good to have when you have that extra money to spend on it that you can put out there. And if you have some gimbals are really nice where you can add extra attachments like extra lighting, which can be extremely helpful for that. At the very least, you may want to walk through the house and turn all the house lights on so it's easily to set up. So preparing for the virtual open house, make sure your technology setup is good. Next, promote that virtual open house. That probably should be one, to be honest with you. But promoting that virtual open house, we want to make sure we do it. As always, you want to make sure you do about a week ahead. The way websites aggregate out to other websites and where you're going to get that visual place in place, you usually want to do about 7 days ahead of time. I'm also going to encourage you to make sure you're putting on other places, especially if you're doing like a Saturday or Sunday, which is pretty common for us to do open houses, to do another one, like that Friday before, 2 days before, just as a reminder that's going out in there. When you're doing this, making sure those graphics are compelling, right? You have it identified as a virtual open house. You can put that in there and put that in place. Going back to the technology setup, I'm also going to encourage you to set up a tool like Calendly or Schedule Once or some of these calendaring schedule systems. Zoom has its own in there too. You can do that from there. But what I like about using one of these is they can schedule a time while you're there. You can set it up. They can schedule a time, and now you're lead generating, and you can walk through that house. I'm going to tell you, anytime you're doing this, you're going to want them to create that account so they can watch, so you can track. It's security, it's checking in, and it's lead generation for all that stuff. So make sure when you put that Calendly link and you create one or whatever scheduling tool you use, that you put it in all your marketing tools. That way they can open it up and schedule their requested time and put it in place and make sure it's going for you there. Next, you need to conduct that tour. So again, you're going to have laid out that plan mentally or actually physically laid it out. And then you're going to guide the viewers through the house, and you're going to have those key conversational points that you have in there. Give a brief introduction of who you are, what's going on, and then give an overview of the property, and then start walking slowly through the house. Remember, it's not the same spatial awareness we have when we're walking through in person, so you're going to want to make sure you're a little more deliberate and intentional in the pace that you're walking at so people have enough time to do it. You also got to keep in mind, depending on how often and how many you have set in place, you have to keep that pace at least going fast enough that you're not running behind schedule as well. Always encourage conversations when you're walking through. Ask some questions, have them go through and go through and build that experience for them that's engaging. Speaking of engaging, have questions you want to ask them. Have questions that you have, encourage them to ask questions, right? Maybe you want to use a poll. If you're using tools like Zoom, you could build a poll in there. So, what's key features are you looking for in a home? Boom, 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 boom. Put that in place. It can be huge in there. I just prefer the verbal questions and put in place, or use chat boxes to have that out there. Really seems to work in that world. So make sure you are building that engagement. It's going to be key for that. And then once you have built all of that, have a follow-up strategy. Again, if you're using tools that will let you collect their information, then have a system in place through your CRM or from whatever that will let and build that follow-up. I recommend phone calls or emails to them so you can thank them for their attendance and ask about other information and ask how you can help them, and maybe give them some extra items of value, maybe a tip sheet on how to buy your next home, or a tip sheet on mortgage strategies these days, or whatever it may be, right? Put that in place and have that with it, right? Have a strategy in place. I'm always a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. I think it's a great book. And you do have to give a lot before you ask. So some of those follow-up strategies should be items of value that you're giving to your clients to help them, or customers, depending on what level you're at this point in time, that will engage them and encourage them to stay with you in the conversational thread. So I hope this was value for you folks. I use this strategy all the time, or encourage this, and I train this strategy all the time because, again, as I kind of hinted earlier, we had the pandemic. We were forced to learn some of these strategies, but now that we don't have to, we don't use them anymore. And one of the best strategies I have been trying to teach people right now with this is when you do a real open house, a quote unquote real, an in-person open house, you are getting in the house and you're getting there hopefully 30 minutes early, and you are setting the house up. Well, why not take the opportunity to create a virtual open house, a live session where people can log in and ask you questions and learn about the house, or do a post when you're setting up. No matter what, I teach a lot of safety class. I'm going to encourage you, if you do these strategies, make sure you have walked through the house first. You have secured the house. You're doing this because you need to focus on this. You don't need to be distracted by something else going on. So, and protect yourselves at all time when you're doing this. So I love that strategy. I think it's a great lead generation strategy. It's two birds at one opportunity. Try it. Let me know how it works in the comments. Please tell me how it works. Try these strategies. I want to know. Hopefully it works for you. If you do always find these videos helpful, please like and subscribe. Share it with others. And as always, share, ask in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.